Hello, my killers and ghouls. I'm posting. I messed that up. Yay! I actually like messing up. My phone is too close to my eyeballs. You I tried to keep a straight face. You were 21, and you and your husband, Laughing Jack, who said we wanted him as our husband. I'm sorry, I make these comments on my own when I read this stuff. We're playing around in his carnival. Carnival! God, Rio. No. Was playing around in his carnival. The game was frick. was hide and seek. And whoever won the last round. Oh god, my eyes. What's wrong with my eyes today? Got to order. But why? Got to order the losers to do whatever they wanted for the rest of the month. There we go. Some of the other creepypastas came over and joined in, since they were very interested. Jeff and Ben were a couple of them. Yes. Shut up. Jack was the seeker and everyone else was hiding. You and Jeff. My name is Jeff. God, I can't get that out of my head. I don't know why I said that. You and Jeff had decided to team up for this, since it seemed Jeff had been hiding, had the best hiding places, no matter what the area, and he didn't want you to have to be bossed around. There we go. Yay. There we go. You hear Jack's voice as he count. The TV's messing me up. I don't want to turn it off. As he counted, growing fainter. There we go. As you and Jeff go further and further away. Come on, YN. I have the perfect spot this time. Jeff chuckled quietly as you and him ran. I sure hope so, Jeff. You panted, noticing how far you were running. I was at the last breath when I read that. Trust me, Jack will never check the place I found. I don't trust you, bro. But the bad part for me is I'm gonna have to give myself up once you're in there. My nose is itchy. Jeff scratched his head as he spoke. You tilted your head in confusion. When suddenly, you heard a familiar raspy voice screech throughout the entire carnival. And panic shot through you. Ready or not, here comes Jack. Crap. Frickin'. That reminds me of, oh, god dang it. Who's the character? Nathan Drake. There we go. Or Nathan Morgan, as he previously went by. We're almost there, Jeff exclaimed under his breath as you got closer to one of the nearby tents. You heard the sound of Sally shouting, "Sally, no!" in shock, and Laughing Jack cackling. Stop you! I know his name is Laughing Jack, but seriously, it kind of makes me uncomfortable, even though he's like my favorite creepypasta. If you guys can't hear this properly, please forgive. My finger was over the speaker part of the phone. Cackling after a few minutes of silence besides the rapid footsteps against gravel you and Jeff made. Found you, Sally. Haha. I'm not doing the 3 laughs, okay? My laughs. Oh, I'm not doing the 3 laughs. Forgive me. Eek! Eek! Yo, my throat is gonna hurt. Oh well. I'm surely I'm sure you'll never find the others. Oh, I highly doubt that. You sound like almost Matt from Ed. You sound like almost Matt from the Edward animations. Sorry to bring that up, but he sounds like that, kind of all about himself. Seriously, you winked to yourself as you thought you'll freaking. I read the line in my head by accident. We'll see about that. You that line that you overconfident clown. Sorry, I find that funny. You and Jeff dashed inside the tent and covered the entrance as fast as you could, panting from how tired your legs were. Yo, I'm a banana. Although now, all right. Oh, shoot. All right, now where's the perfect spot you told me about? I sound like Elvis. Just the stutters, I mean. You questioned, using your hands to make quotation. There we go. Thinking of I'm thinking of problems. Thinking of what I did when I was in 5th grade. Quotation marks. There we go. Over here. Quick. I have a feeling he'll show up any minute. How do you know? Jeff quietly called to you as he speed walked over to you to a grandfather clock. There we go. Great grandfather clock. Arm hurts from holding my phone like that. There we go. Oh wow, already? What the heck is a clock like that doing here? There we go. You stated surprised something like that would be in a place as crazy as this. If Jeff had eyelids, he would. Yo, weird. He probably would be winking. He probably would have winked. It's not really a clock. He slowly smirked. Why you be smirking? With the evil look in his eyes, your eyes widen. Then what is it? You raised a brow suspiciously. I used that word before, and I just started laughing. Jeff opened the glass compartment to reveal a small hole where a long empty tunnel could be found, and light shined. I was stained. Light shined through it. You couldn't quite tell what was down there. I know what's down there actually.
You tell me, right? Tell what? If you're hiding something. I told you your present only comes on your birthday.
But you knew it led to somewhere else. Hurry up and get in before he finds us, Jeff urged as he gently shoved you into the small compartment. My arm hurts, like seriously. I'll lay down. There we go. But what about you? You inquired. There we go. Once you said you inquired. Like I said, I have to give myself up so he doesn't suspect it. I got this. Trust me. You nodded in mere seconds. There we go. I cannot read, and I'm proud of that. Because it makes me laugh more. You can hear footsteps drawing closer to the tent. Go, go, go! Jeff yelled. As you got in, and he swiftly shut the small compartment. Yo, my frickin' why? You turned and saw the light enter the tent, and Jeff yelped in shock. Found you, Jeffrey! Yo, I thought... Does he not like being called that? I remember. God dang. You heard Jack's voice howled playfully. God dang it, he growled. That's like something I would say. You looked at his face to see him give you a barely visible smirk. There we go. Before he walked away, you saw Jack's shadow come closer before it faded in the darkness. And you quickly went down the tunnel. To your surprise, it was a lot like a slide. And as you lied on your back and slid down, you could hear Jack why? You could hear Ben and the others yelling in fear and groaning in defeat as Jack found them one by one. Yeet! Croaky doors. You yelped as the tunnel reached its end, and you fell. To your surprise, you were in the pile of toys. They were pretty soft. They were pretty soft too. What in the world is that? You heard a familiar inquire. I cannot read. Okay.
It's inconclusive.
Unique. I know it was unique. I was just being weird.
You cheated on me and almost got her pregnant. Oh, Greg. I told you I'm not allowed to just get rid of clients. What? You're not allowed to fuck clients.
Sorry.
She was the last close I needed. And I started to believe.
You heard a familiar, unique voice. I think that's. I'm sorry, I cannot read properly. And I'm proud. Exclaim.
I'm so paranoid now, I keep looking around me. Titanic. What? It's my icebreaker. Okay, I'll give you that one, Taylor. That was pretty good. That's cute. People died.
And you climbed out of the large pile of stuffed animals. You knew where you were. Wow. Like I didn't know. You looked to see none other than Jason the toy maker, standing there looking at you with a now dumbfounded look. Why in my goodness, child. What are you, Xtorial? Oh, this is on you. You're everything that I see. I want your hollow emotion. Endlessly, I can't get over you. You left a mark on me. I want your hollow emotion. Endlessly, Sorry. If you know the Jacksepticeye series of Simulacra, I'm watching video the third part of it. That one. I had to sing it. It sounded good. My goodness, child, you scared me half to death. Wouldn't it be half to life? Where did you come from? The golden-eyed man quickly ran over to you and lifted you out of the basket. Basket. Slowly lowering you to your feet. I'm not sure. From that hole, I guess? You pointed behind you to where you fell from, scratching your head with your other hand. Wow. Jason looked over, but his brows I read this before and I'm proud of it. Proud and confusion. What hole, dear?
Last time that happened, I got jump scared. The fucking biggest one. I don't like it. Also, why are the things not going into each other? Hey, stranger, anything? Anna posted something on Jabber. Looks like she's chilling at
Jason looked at you.
Right?
Okay, I'm not even close to finishing this.
I wish that was true.
Jason looked at you and tilted his head. You looked over and shockingly, there was no hole to be seen. My voice sounds grim. It was as if it were never there. You couldn't help but snort at this.
It's your fucking
There's a passageway in Jack's carnival that leads to Jason's own workshop, and he has never even seen it. Wow, he doesn't even know that about his own carnival. What's so funny? Jason raised a brow.
What about the post?
I'll tell you about it later. You giggled as you stood on your toes and ruffled his
Find out if she's okay. Yeah, and somehow
mahogany.
she posts exactly the same time as when Greg is checking in on her. Doesn't it sound? It's like, a bit strange in your
Mahogany.
razor.
There we go.
Okay.
English.
Simplest answer is most often correct. The easiest answer is most often right. The obvious answer is not right.
I keep messing up because I'm watching TV.
So let's say, hypothetically, there is a possibility that Greg somehow did something bad to Anna, and he's
There we go.
hiding it from you. Greg so much
He
of a
growled
little
slightly
bitch.
and gently swatted your hand away and tried to fix it, making you giggle once more. But for now, I need to make sure Jack doesn't find me, you told him mischievously. Jason rolled his eyes with a glint of green passing through them and crossing his arms, sighing, giving you a flat look. What's the bet this time? He spoke blankly. Blankly.
The iris software that's on the phone.
You just laugh. Anything that had to do with Jack bored him, especially his games. But you were an exception, since you were a truly dear friend of him. Since when? To him. Since when, though? This time, however, whoever, not the same thing. Needs to learn. My English makes it better. This time, whoever loses has to do what the winner says for the rest of the month. You explained, crossing your arms behind your head with a grin. He hummed. That's not bad, I suppose. That's not too bad, I suppose. There we go. After all, you'll probably win since he hardly ever comes here. He motioned his hand to you. You did a small curtsy. Frick. As you smiled playfully. Why do you think, you good sir? You spoke in a fake fancy tone and laughed afterwards. Jason gave a small snort. Frick. As he gave you a grin, he put a hand behind his waist and tipped. No. And tipped his hat with the other. I forgot he wears a hat. You're very welcome, madame. He spoke in a familiar. Why do I keep mixing those up? I'm proud.
All I'm saying is that I think there is more to Greg than he is leading on. Again, hypothetically. What else?
Similar tone to yours. And you laughed again. This time, he joined in. Once your laughter subsided, you heard a voice you knew almost too well yelling from within the mansion. Since frick, I almost said Jackson. Since Jason's workshop was reciting at the moment. I give up. It's like me when I play a small Undertale game with like just the separate souls. You heard Jack's voice yelling in defeat and frustration. With an evil smile painted your face. Wow. Sounds like I win. You intoned as you danced a bit. Jason chuckled. Indeed, we have fun, little YN. He winked with a small tip of his hat. Jason, you know I'm not little anymore. You crossed your arms, looking away. I know. He booped your nose. Boop. Why do I like that word?
about his actions and behavior, maybe he will slip up.
But I don't care.
No.
You giggled at him. Now go on. Go on and hurry.
What's up, Michael?
Before he finds out
Rick?
you were here. There we go. You might get mad at me. Is that because of jealousy?
Let's talk about your relationship with Anna. So you're a shrink now? What is there to talk about?
Frick. He smiled warmly as he shooed you out the door. You googled apparently. You giggled and waved as you shut the door behind you, quickly rushing to you in Jack's room. I just took off my outfit. It's so weird. Later. I think the person said it meant it. I had gotten late. So see it. The person must have been the person that wrote this must have been in a rush,
We are dating.
or at least didn't care about the grammar, which I don't either. And it was time for everyone to go to bed. You lied on top of the bed in your pajamas, awaiting your obviously angry husband. Why? When you heard footsteps making their way to the black, white, and colored favorite color door, you sat up. Where were you? Like an angry father talking to their teen child. I'm sorry. Jack's voice screeched as soon as he opened the door. You fell back on the bed laughing. Jack jumped on top of you and pinned you to the bed. You didn't care though. You were too busy laughing. Oh, that's me. You were the only one I couldn't find. Where did you go? Where did you go? He screeched again. I heard something. You were laughing so hard you thought you were going to choke. The hat. I actually almost did that once, actually. Jack, release your one hand. So I only have one hand. Wow. So you could wipe the tears from your eyes as you finally calmed down. But he quickly repinned it once you were done. Jack. I can only do it like separately. I can't do it like together. You asked in a playfully mocking tone. Jack looked mad. In fact, you were pretty sure he had never been this angry before. He must have pretty upset that he lost against you. You darn well know what the problem is. I want to know where you were hiding right now. Jack practically screamed in your ear. But you didn't mind. You were used to it. You just gave a cheeky smile. A good hider never reveals their secrets. Jack growled, That's... No. That's the magician, woman. You just laughed. You better tell me where you were hiding before I really get mad, Jack hissed. But you remained unfazed. I ain't telling you. I ain't telling. That's like me. You didn't like grammar. I would.
This is not the time to be pointing fingers. Here I am posting my balls.
You denied like a little kid. That's an argument with another.
You're right, I'm sorry. Let's just move on. Hope you're done wasting my time.
But this just made Jack all the more frustrated. After Jack finally gave up on figuring out where you were hiding, you decided to get into bed. Grr, I hate losing, Jack grumbled as he pulled you close to him, your back against his chest. You just giggled quietly.
Okay, I will.
But you looked up with a smile. but it soon faded when you saw how unhappy he looked. You didn't want his day to end on a bad note. Why did I say tone?
I looked through. Oh, this is right after the Greg thing.
On a bad note. So he decided to say the one thing that always cheered him up. No matter what the problem was, whether it was about stolen candy or being tricked, those 3 words always made it better. Oh, Jackie, you whispered with a child voice, getting a small hum in response. You turned over and snuggled your face into his chest. I love you. Oh, that's actually kind of sweet. You purred. You felt his body freeze for a moment. For to your surprise, it moved. Jack, you asked him a bit nervously as he crawled on top of you. Dude, no. But oh, that's sweet. But the fear faded when you saw a wide smile on his white face. That sounded very, very weird. I never really expected to hear that, even though he's like black and white, monochrome colors. I never really expected to hear that. He bent his head down, and his black lips pressed against your own. He smiled as you gladly returned it. Gladly. Oh, cringe already. He licked your bottom lip, asking for entrance. And of course you allowed it. His long tongue explored every inch of your mouth, like always. Excuse me, no. And you didn't bother putting up a fight for dominance. Dominoes. Dominance. Since he always won. Except in hide and seek in the story. After a couple of seconds, he pulled away. He pulled back so you could get air. I don't know why, but I do it like a kind of croaky Sans laugh. I'm skipping that. I'm sorry. Love you too, YN. He chuckled lightly as he bent down again. This time, his lips. Oh no. Freaking weirdos. His lips kissed and nipped at your neck. Because I have a potato neck. Matter of fact, no, I have a candy neck. And since he likes candy, he's gonna eat me. Yay! Frick. And you gave us nope, smiling that he wasn't upset anymore. Yeah, I'm skipping that. I skipped that line. You could read it on your own. And let's just say that the night ended on a really good note. Okay, so I'm not done yet. I'm reading another one after I get rid of this one. And this is gonna be a two for one video. Yeah, I know I'm weird. Don't judge me. Yes, I like Sonic.exe too. He deserves some love too. You were... Oh, shoot. But as you can read the author's note, in this one shot, you will be 7. Okay. That picture is a good art, but does not fit him perfectly. Because the way I've seen him, I've read him, I mean, is he's always a big jerk. You're walking around the halls of the mansion as bored as you can be. All the other creepypastas have gone out on a killing spree. Well, you had to stay home by yourself. At least you thought you were by yourself. You turned the corner to see something blue. You knew that vibrant colored yet viciously evil fellow. Anyway, it was Sonic.exe. Sonic.exe, or just EXE for short, as you called him. Didn't talk to Didn't talk to you all that much, according to Slender. He wasn't exactly good with kids. But you wondered if he could, but you wondered if he could cure you of your boredom. There we go. So you walked over to him. He was sitting on the couch in the lounge. It was a beautiful red color and the most comfortable one. You decided to try and see if he would speak to you. Whenever you tried this before, though, he would just play slightly and turn away. He was sitting with one leg resting on the other. It's like how I sit when I read, except for right now.
Should I have put in the extension after? Because this is like so American to me.
And the side of his head resting against his knuckle.
That's not really the way we put down numbers.
I don't know why I said that. He looked as bored as you were. You were only a few meters from him. But surprisingly, he didn't seem to notice you. Please notice me, senpai. Please notice me, senpai. Why did I sing that? Yeah. You slowly moved your small hand to his right arm and tapped it gently. He wasn't exactly good to startle. He would always get mad at anyone who did and gave them a good thrashing afterwards. Dang. Sonic.exe apparently. Sonic.exe flinched slightly at your touch as his black and red eyes slowly. Yeah, I'm not even done. I'm not even close to it. Slowly and his slightly at your touch. And his black and red eyes slowly moved to meet your own, widening a bit once they did. Hi, EXE, you spoke a bit nervously. You weren't sure what he would do since you two were the only ones in the room. He was quiet for a moment, but to your surprise, he spoke for once. Hello, he whispered quietly. Did you need something? He questioned after a few seconds of silence. Well, you stated. You were unsure about what to say, so you chose to give it to him straight. I was really bored and stuff, and you were the only one. We're the only ones home, so I thought I'd see how you were doing. You spoke a bit more cheerfully with a small smile on your face. Oh, really? That's kind of sweet of you.
Yeah.
He was scaring. He always whispered when he spoke for some reason, except for when he was scaring others, of course. You smiled a bit more as you saw his red pupils look away with a faint tint of pink form just beneath his pitch black eyes.
I need your help for other matters. I'm afraid we do not do returns. You have to contact HQ for that. I want to talk to you about Craig.
This was awesome. For the first time, you actually having a conversation with him. Now to see if you can use this to your advantage. EXE spoke again. His pupils looked back to you, signaling you to continue. Can I sit with you? You asked shyly, putting your hand on your other arm. His eyes widened, but slightly only. But still only slightly, I mean. I suppose you can, if you want, he whispered a bit quieter, looking away again.
Missing?
After that,
You call the police kind of missing? Oh, I get it
frick,
now. You're implying that he actually
he darted his eyes to you, to a spot beside him. You smiled happily as you walked past him and climbed onto the cushion. Sitting beside him, you looked at him again. You had never really gotten to see him up close, so you used this opportunity to do so. He had blood stains from ear to sneaker. His face. Oh shoot. I'll reply. Don't judge me, I will reply. His face had streaks of it from beneath his cold, dark sockets, and his gloved hands and claw-like points to them. Had claw-like points to them, but you couldn't tell they were there on his other hand, since it was in a fist. And then there was his fur. It was a beautiful shade of blue. You wondered what it felt like. Was it soft? Was it rough? You had to know, but how? Yay, it's almost finished. Almost. Sorry if it seems like I want this to be over. Just my hands. And my arms hurt right now. You glanced at his face to see that for some reason his eyes were closed. Could he have fallen asleep? You stood up on the couch and stepped closer, trying not to disturb him as best as possible. I reached for his head. Your small fingers graced his fur, and it was actually really soft. You looked at his eyes, and thankfully they were still closed. You reached for his ear and nudged it slightly, causing it to twitch. Panic struck you, and you quickly looked again. You slightly sighed with relief that he still hadn't noticed.
Dude, that's dumb. Sorry. I normally don't reply like that, but it's a video game. We can do whatever the fuck I want.
You went from his ear again. You went for his ear again. It felt tough from the back and edges. The insides was the same, but the fur around it was a soft silk. Was soft as silk. Your hand on the side of his head. You felt it jerk a tad. Panic coursed through your veins. Once again, but to your surprise, his head slowly leaned into your touch, making your eyes wide. You look at his eyes; they were still closed, but his mouth, he was smiling. I actually never heard of him smiling, so.
What is love? It hurts. Yeah, it can. Ooh, 4 blocks left.
Yeah.
Getting down to it.
You couldn't help but let a faint giggle leave your lips, as you heard a small sigh come from his nose, meaning he was liking your affection. You continued moving your hand around his soft head, getting hums of enjoyment in return, until you saw his eyes squeeze slightly. He was waking up, not him. You quickly shuffled back into your spot, leaning into the couch, and pretend nothing happened. You heard him groan slightly, and looked to see his cold black eyes open. His leg that was resting on the other moved back to the floor as he yawned faintly. You looked away from him just before his red pupilled gaze looked at you. You could hear him shuffle slightly. Was he getting up? Nope. Your eyes widened as you felt his gloved hands lift you up and setting you on his lap. He cradled you in his arms and gave you an unbelievably warm smile as he whispered, "You don't have to stop, Ryan. I liked it." You giggled again as he playfully snuggled his head against your face, his fur tickling you. You put a hand on his head once again and laughed as he smiled widely. He looked so kind. It was hard to believe this hedgehog was horrifying to some people. After a little while, you and EXE were lying on the down on the couch, sleeping peacefully. When the other creepypasta came back home, "Aw, look at you two!" I knew convincing Senator to leave Sonic.exe here with YN was a good idea. Jason the toy maker chuckled quietly with a gleeful smile. Jason, actually, Jason covered you both with a warm blanket and quietly left the lounge, went back to his workshop for the night. And I'm done. Hope you liked